Yeah. Okay. The monthly meeting of the
Okay. Is
Little Rock
Brandy
House.
on?
She ain't got on yet. The Little Rock Housing Authority doing business as Metropolitan Housing Alliance is called to order. Director Benedicto, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Chairman Lowe. Chairman Lowe.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson.
Here.
Commissioner Anthony.
Here.
Commissioner Peterson.
She should be joining us.
Okay, I'll note that when she joins. And Chairman, you do have a quorum.
All right, you have the agenda before you. Any additions, subtractions, or modifications?
Motion to approve the agenda for today's meeting.
Second.
Then move to properly second for the adoption of the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, none. You have the minutes. We had tabled the August minutes. They're included as well. So any additions, subtractions, modifications?
For August meeting.
Well, August and should be last month's meeting in
Yeah,
there
we're
too.
gonna do August and September.
She can't get in.
I move that
She's
the
in the
minutes
waiting
as
room.
presented be approved.
She said she's in the waiting room. She's not able to get in.
On the minutes, we need to approve the minutes.
Oh, that's it.
Need a second.
Oh, second.
Been moving proper second for the adoption of the minutes, including those of August monthly meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
It gets us caught up.
All
That's
opposed,
great.
none. Yep.
Yeah.
Got one card for public participation?
Brandy's trying to get in. She's on my phone.
Okay. Mr. Rex Johnson? Mr. Johnson?
I'm trying to get Miss Brandy.
Ms. Johnson, section 8.
Okay.
You got 3 minutes.
So, trying to see if Carlos can help get her in.
Hold
All
on,
right, so-
Brandy, we're gonna make, some adjustments here to get you in.
Well, I will go
But
ahead.
you are in the meeting and she is present.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Peterson, I'm marking you as present. You're welcome. So, well, we have our Housing Choice Voucher Section A report.
Mr. Johnson, public participation?
Mr. Johnson.
Oh, so he's not.
I think he's been getting his
Yeah.
work. They worked it
So
out.
you're not
They-
gonna-
yes,
Okay,
sir.
then we
So we-
moving right along then.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not present. She did speak with him.
Okay.
Section 8.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you ready from
Director
Section 8?
Benedicto?
Okay. Patrice Brunfield, if you'll come up and give the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher report.
Good morning, Chairman Lowe and
Good morning.
Commissioners.
Good morning.
The HCB voucher report is as follows. We have 2913 as our baseline with 2621 leased with a 90% voucher utilization. Mainstream, we have 156 allocated with 103 leased with 66% utilized. And for Elm Street, we have 52 allocated with 38 leased and 4 referrals with 73% utilized. For the emergency housing voucher, EHV, we have 96 allocated with 52 leased and searching and 30 currently on the waiting list with a 50% voucher utilization. And for our FYI program, we have 25 allocated with 8 leased and 2 issued and searching for 30% voucher being utilized.
Patrice, Elm Street, you're saying you only have 4 applications?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
And they're showing that they've sent it, I've got 3 here today, but, they're showing, that they have, 13, well, really, they have 14 units that are available, and that's too high. So, and we're getting hit.
Well, I wonder who makes the referrals to Elm Street?
People come in.
Yeah, but that should be some type of recruitment going on.
We've got people coming in, We're just, the process requires us to send them here
Right.
for the application
Mhm,
purpose.
right.
And I understand in some instances, they're not able to get a hold of some of the people, once they put in their application.
But let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Wouldn't it be feasible that if we had a set aside with a computer over there, that they could do it there?
We've got computers, like I said, we've just, however we want to handle it, that will expedite the situation.
I mean,
Because
I think it should be both and instead of either or.
of whatever we need to do, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, wherever the bottleneck is, we
Right.
get hit.
Right,
We take
right,
the hit.
right, right.
And right now, with the inspection on the 26th, which that becomes part, occupancy becomes a part of that inspection, we need to show something is in place to make that better.
I mean, that's what I would make a suggestion, that we have something on site that they could fill out and go ahead and be done with it.
Well, they do the background check. Their situation is more or less more intrinsic than what is done. Like, we have that, just a two-sheeter,
Right.
but the background check and everything is done here.
That's correct.
So,
Just trying to streamline the process.
but it's here.
Mhm.
It's
it's
here.
here.
It's here.
But what's
Like I said, they could get them over, what they can get them over today in one afternoon. But once it gets here, then there's another process that they have to do, and it causes for the background check and everything. There's no problem getting the information that we have over here. It's what happens once it gets here.
I would say once we receive that information here, considering we have a new person working that position right now, I don't think it'll be an issue in the future for us
Okay.
to have it leased up. So I would agree that we should have more utilization with that program. But we do have a contact person for that now, so I don't think
And
it
who
would
is that
be
contact person?
Tamika Williams.
Okay.
I would think that would help for the disconnect that we probably had.
Okay, we're looking forward
Would
to it.
that be the
I
same
am
for
too.
the foster care vouchers?
I-
Because those referrals should be coming from DHS.
That's correct, yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to think why they're so low, is if not DHS, it's not referring folks.
What I would say for that now is considering I'm here and, know the people are just now meeting the people that I need to contact, I think we'll see those numbers go up. I'm sure we'll see those numbers go up.
That's the same thing with mainstream, it's,
That's a major bottleneck.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
I mean, but we've increased the number of hands on deck, right?
We
Yeah.
have, and so, as a result, we are seeing an increase in the overall utilization. So we were like at 84, 86% for the past couple of months, so we are now up to 90%. So, as a result of getting more staff. And so I know that with President Anthony with Elm Street, that has been an issue, and so one of the correctives that we did was to get a caseworker who happens to be seasoned, assigned, dedicated to Elm Street.
Okay.
And that is Ms. Tamika Williams.
Okay.
And so, yeah, for the foster youth independence, as Ms. Brumfield said, we're getting her connected with those referring agencies, so we can get more streamlined.
Because
But
DHS don't refer, and won't nobody know about those vouchers to those kids who age out of foster care.
that's right. And with mainstream, it's one of those vouchers with a two-part qualification, the disability and the age, and that's run through the waiting list.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
And maybe is that question being asked, if someone is being called for a regular Section 8, is that question being followed up and asked?
So they've been directed to ask that question.
Right.
So and I'll just get with Ms. Brumfield, to reinforce that.
That'll work. So where we are at overall utilization?
90%?
Need 2 more % to get that $5 million back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're inching our way.
All right.
So 2 more %. Okay, that's,
They have to have 92% occupancy.
Yeah, love it.
before-
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I
Get them
said,
recaptured funds back in the fold.
Is it a time that we have?
Nah, ain't no time limit. HUD just holds on to that, well,
Until
yeah,
we
hold
reach
on until you reach that goal.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Bromfield. So, Tamara advised me this morning that she spoke with you and President Anthony, and of course, I told Chairman Lowe that she's in the finance part of training right now for Yardi, but she did provide the report, which is in your binder. And she can be on standby if I need to call her to come down. She can just, just break away from the training.
Has there been another date set for the next phase of the budget meeting review?
We didn't talk about that, I didn't.
Yes, but I can get it on the calendar.
Let's do, yeah.
Yeah, let's
We'll
get
just
that.
Do that.
Yeah.
We recommending next week, or?
That sounds good. to
Yeah, it
me.
does.
Yeah.
Okay.
does.
I know Monday you'll be here.
Yes, let's try Thursday.
Thursday, okay.
Get him to get a breather.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of paperwork Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try Thursday. What time did we meet the last time?
The last time it was early, because we had that procurement training. I don't know if Chairman Lowe would like that,
I
but.
don't,
He doesn't have a problem with that. He doesn't have a problem. He's been up campaigning.
The earlier the better, probably.
10,
10.
10 sounds good.
Yeah.
Anything
And
other
that's
than 9
Thursday at
o'clock?
what?
Let's see here. That will be, get a calendar open here.
You talking about Monday?
no, we're talking about Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay.
26, isn't
24. This coming, 24?
I think it's
That's the
27.
27th.
Commissioner
27.
Peterson's been in the waiting room.
Yeah, that's the 27th.
Okay, okay. Okay, for a date, that is Thursday, the 27th
Mm-hmm.
At 10 a.m.
at 10 a.m.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And
I'll
I
get
think if
it.
we have that report with us at that time, that will also help us
Okay.
in making decisions moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bring report.
It's really gonna be what?
Okay,
That looks good.
so
Would it
the,
be
they
you?
just re-enabled the waiting room, so they should be able to let her in.
Okay.
Would that be a view meeting? Or be here, a Zoom meeting?
You should be,
Say what?
they're
Would it be Zoom
enabling
or
the
would it be
waiting
here?
room,
Zoom meeting
Commissioner
here.
Peterson, so you should be able to
Yeah,
get
man.
in just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it said MHA board meeting 11:30, and it said the meeting is scheduled, and we're waiting for it to start.
Mm-hmm.
So can you email her the link?
Well, I'd just like to, looking at the financials for Mainstream and Elm Street,
Uh-huh, yeah,
I'd like to give you a pat on the back. Attaboy, atta-girl, whichever one of them you want. That financial picture looks good, even up to the year-to-date, for both of those, Main Street and Elm Street.
We have new energy at Elm Street that has done a great job in making sure that residents are keeping up with their rent. In fact, the team over at Elm Street is getting some additional training to make sure that they're not only meeting the specs of what the residents want, but also ADVA and working with MHA to get everything cleared up as part of some new training. In recognizing what's taking place at Elm Street, our compliance director, manager, has been working closely with the teams to help them and being a conduit between the investors, ADVA, and those that we report to make sure that the training is clear and understandable to the team. And it's really taken something off the plate of administration for her to be there. So thank you to Deborah Center for taking the time to work with the folk to make sure that they have what they need to perform their job duties.
That's great.
Oh, question.
Yes.
Has Tam been in contact with, BKD?
You know what, I have actually, I reached out to Corey, we have a meeting Monday
Okay.
at 9:30.
Okay.
I sent him the, deck report
Mm-hmm.
that we sent to HUD,
Mm-hmm.
and, we'll meet, and I just asked him, what other actions do you need from MHA? What other documentation to go ahead and certify 2019?
Yeah, he needs to
So,
forward to us because it's gonna take a board resolution to close them books.
okay,
But until we get it from him, there's nothing that we can do.
I see.
So what's happening Monday?
Well, I sent him the report,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to open the dialogue, if it's kind of we're at a stalemate, is there anything else that he's looking for from us to send? I sent,
Yeah.
so that we can.
Corey was waiting on his legal folks to make a decision, and I'm saying there's no decision to be made.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right,
The, HUD OIG has released that,
Yes, yeah.
there's no findings, so I don't know what the holdup is.
Yeah,
Plus the subpoena that HUD sent them was squashed, so.
yeah,
But Chairman, just to speak a little bit out of term here,
Mhm.
Commissioner Lindsay asked what's taking place on Friday.
Say Monday.
Monday. That is part of the closing process
Okay.
for
Now,
sunset.
Okay.
Yeah, and
That's-
I think that all board members need to be here at 1, is it 1?
oh, yeah, this is, for the signing of those
So this
documents.
is actually, okay.
Yeah, so I think that all board members should be here for the signing, because even though CAAC has a document that has to be signed, MHA has signed, documents to be signed. And just for the purpose of us all knowing what's in those documents and reviewing those documents, even though we will have legal here, I'm not trusting nobody but God. So, I shared with the chairman that I thought that invitation needs to be made to all board members.
Okay.
So we're all on the same page of the playbook and making sure that as we move forward with the sunset deal, that we know what we're signing. And
Don't
that's
have no problem with
CAAC.
that, but that public notice needs to
When
go
is
out.
that date?
It is Monday, the 24th at 1 o'clock here at MHA.
If that's to occur, that public notice needs to go out.
And they can have it. But I want to err on the side that all board members know
Yeah.
exactly what we're participating in.
Yeah,
You
open it,
said
open
what
it
time is
transparent.
it?
1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm,
Okay, okay.
yeah, open it
I'll get
transparent.
public notice out, okay.
Well, this is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long time coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Real
Lord,
long.
Real
Yeah.
long, huh?
And of course, the residents are
anxious.
anxious, we're anxious too, because we've spent almost daily time on this, on some portion of this for the last year and a half or longer, to make sure that things were right. So, just for the sake of CAAC board and MHA board, knowing the due diligence that, the leadership has put in place, we want you present.
I thought Sunset was gonna make 100 years old before you got it.
Can I,
Like 18 years from 100.
Yes, sir.
my question, I guess, is, just some clarification now. So the bridge loan,
That is
That's for
still
medicine.
being worked on.
That's for medicine.
that's not, I mean,
That's
for
CAAC.
med- That's CAC, but that's for
That's
medicine.
what I
And
said,
Sharon is
okay.
getting married
Right.
on Saturday.
But that's CHA,
Mhm.
yeah.
Really?
She didn't tell anybody.
Say what now?
One of the people one of the bankers that we're working with is getting married on Saturday, so that's why she been a little bit
Yeah.
with us and not with us.
All right.
That's wonderful.
She got other things on her mind.
Yeah,
That's great.
so she's gonna be gone all of next week.
Okay.
Okay.
But I think it is historical in the past. Unfortunately, we didn't even know when papers were signed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And that
And what was in them.
and for me, that simply was not legal.
Mhm.
But I think when these things happen, it is such a major piece and such a major part of what we are commissioned to do,
Yeah.
that we as an entire board need to be there.
Okay.
Moving right along.
Okay, Thursday at 1, and I'll get that invitation?
Monday.
I mean, Monday
Monday at 1.
at 1, and then
Thursday at
Thursday
10.
for at 10
Thursday at 10.
for budget
our-
and financial.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that.
And she'll have some numbers available Thursday. Yeah.
Tamara.
Yeah.
Yes,
to
sir.
look at,
Yeah,
Yes,
projections.
Projections.
She will, yes, sir.
Projections.
and I will remind her. Okay. Chairman, you ready for?
Yeah, moving right along.
All right, moving right along for procurement. Okay, so nothing going on there really. But I thought, well, we have some updates. But we don't have any formal solicitations. One of the things that Tamara did ask us to do, because we're around November, close everything out. And so, we don't have any formal solicitations out right now. I mentioned the corrective action plan has already been submitted to the HUD field office, so I don't think, there's a whole lot to say there. We've complied with that. On the procurement front, one of the corrective actions was that, and I know the board, this is just a reminder, you already know this, needed to update the procurement policy. And so, just as a reminder, I thought I would, throw that out there. The proposed completion date is December 31.
For the policy.
So
We normally 2 board members works with procurement and the ED to get that policy, because the policy has to come back to the board for approval. So that's something we need to set up for November, so we can get it approved in the December meeting.
Okay. And so, I'll mark that down. I do remember the pool needed to be added into it, the procurement
I
policy.
think we were talking about removing the pool, because the pool was never our idea.
Okay,
Well,
That was from the EDs.
EDs at
Okay.
the time, that was
They wanted
never,
to do that.
never our,
And see, I hadn't,
because it was never operated
Cool. I
legally
mean,
and
yeah.
appropriately.
okay,
but it was a
And-
part of the plan.
well, it's not part of the HUD procurement.
Right.
Now, other federal agencies do it, like SBA. They do pool procurement. But I hadn't seen anything in HUD that does such a thing.
And we haven't included anything in ours.
yeah, he said it wasn't in the policy.
It's not, it's not in the CFR.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing that we've run into, has been that former EDs and procurement personnel did not utilize the pool
Appropriately.
appropriately and fairly.
Mhm.
And we could've got hit hard, with that taking place.
Mhm.
So if it's going to be in place, I think that's a point of discussion. And that we understand the penalty of not just,
Not just saying we have a policy.
and
but
not
also
utilizing it as
Implementing
such.
it according to the policy.
Okay,
But we were still waiting on that data, the good, the bad, and the ugly of a pool versus individual. We never got that information.
Well, it never was done properly.
True.
So that threw the whole thing into, the dump.
Establishing.
Yeah. So, that can be part of the discussion when we sit down to look at the policy itself, if you want to keep it, and if not, what guidelines you want to put in
Include.
place. Include as part of it.
okay,
Gotcha.
okay.
So the board will set a meeting date, and we'll forward it to the ED and to your personnel for when we'd like to meet to discuss the procurement policy.
Okay,
But definitely, it needs to be done before the November meeting, so it can be, we have to wait 45 days before it can be approved.
Well, the policy, if it's going in the ACOP,
We gotta have it. Okay.
yeah, if it's going in the ACOP, yeah. And that could be considered a modification of ACOP,
Yes, sir.
which has to have a public review period for 45 days that you
So we
mentioned.
need to meet sometime this month so that it can be brought up early. November.
Later.
Early
Yes,
November.
yes.
I'm sorry, Commissioner. I just looked at the link, Director Dicto, you sent me the link you sent out was from 9/15, not for October 20th. That's why I can't get in.
Okay,
The date
It's a
is
different
wrong.
link, yeah.
it's a different link, okay.
Yeah, it's a different link. It says 9:15, and this is for October 20th meeting, so.
Okay, I'm sorry
that's why I
about that.
can't-
Is that the link that's included with the attachments, with the board,
Uh-huh.
with the board report?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay, so I was told it's the same link every time, but I'm so sorry, so I'm just going to, I asked Carlos to resend you the link. If that hadn't
Okay.
hit your inbox, I'm just gonna ask him to try.
It should hit it just now.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So Commissioner Peterson, it should be hitting your inbox right now,
Okay.
a fresh link.
Alright. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
oh,
I'm
you
just-
fine,
I'm sorry.
we miss you terribly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Carlos.
Okay.
All right, legal.
All right, legal, moving right along. So with the legal report, well, I don't see mine, but I do remember we got some significant movement with the Biddle case. And so that has been settled for MHA, and it is behind us now. And that happened October the 12th at the federal court. With the Arkansas Fair Housing Commission, there was a little bit of details that need to be worked out in the settlement agreement, and mainly had to do with the towers and who owns and operates them. And so Vince Council is getting that worked out, and we anticipate that closing out any moment now. So he has sent that. So in terms of the fallen tree case, which I spoke with Sylvester Smith on yesterday, and no updates there. I know the last update where he was gonna get a motion to dismiss it, it's just not our property. I'm not sure why it still hadn't been dismissed, quite frankly, but, the SCLC case with the ITEX, they're not our bills, motion to dismiss on that. The most significant thing is right now is the Leon Jones case, and so that was some court-ordered mediation, and that's happening this afternoon. And so hopefully, the next legal update will render that final and behind us.
And there's no movement on Jarman's case. It hadn't been in it for quite some while.
Yes, that's,
So the clock is about almost ready to run out on them.
But should we inquire, oh, it's running out on them, not us?
Yeah, it's not us.
Yeah, okay, okay, on them, not us, okay.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I guess there's no action required of us on that. But happy to get, the Biddle matter behind us.
Yeah, winding down.
Winding it on down. Let's see, any other cases that are hanging out? Of course, declaration of trust, we know that's no movement there. We'll have to pay for those. So I just actually took that off this legal report because that hadn't changed in months, and I don't think it's going to with those not providing dollars for that. And then,
Question.
yes,
I don't know if there's we do have a contract for lawn services, right?
we do.
I don't think that the city is notifying the appropriate registered agent. It may be an old name on there, but that's something to follow up with either Kevin or the city attorney.
Okay.
Proper notification. Because we found out we have a property at 3202 Chester, which is one block up from my mama's house, that they cut it in, what was it, August, July?
They cut it in July.
And I didn't know nothing about it, but they put a lien on it.
October
And that's,
4th.
and to me, that tells me there's a bottleneck of who they communicating with.
Yeah, and usually in those situations and working with the city, we can get that cleaned up with some conversation and explanation what took place.
I mean, we've got contract for lawn services, I mean, let us know. Somebody say, your grass too tall, okay, it's your job, go do it, send us the invoice and we be done with it.
Well, I would also say we probably need to do a good review of what the city's records is showing belongs to us.
And what doesn't.
Moving forward. Because we know that there's quite a few plots and patches in looking, over on, Scott
Mhm.
Street in Cumberland. Those lots are well kept,
Yep,
extremely well kept. And, we just need to make sure all that belongs to us, we are
we
aware
keep it
of.
up, right.
Yeah. Yeah, I just learned of the 3202 cross yesterday,
Chester?
Just,
Chester,
Mhm.
in which that came up as a part of the sunset closing, so.
And still dealing with that ballot of legacy, because it's showing the city of Little Rock as the owner, and we know that not to be the case. Over on the Quorum Court side, hadn't heard back from Tom Carpenter or Kevin. But that had to do with the land swap with 3M, when Shelley was here. And HUD told Shelley to undo the deal, and I guess it never got undone. Because the name of record for that property is still the city of Little Rock.
Well, that was the same thing with St. John's too, wasn't it?
no, we were free and clear with St.
Was
John's.
it?
Yeah.
Mhm. We were free and clear with that.
Yeah, that land was donated to us.
Yeah.
Okay. What about,
That's why we were able to go ahead and sell it and be done with it. They had no HUD money involved in that.
But we still need to look at the property, Harmony Clinic.
okay,
Yeah,
Harmony
we
Clinic.
still need
Well,
to,
I mean, say, go ahead and put in the disposition paperwork and get it started and put a for sale sign out there front and center and be done with it.
Through SACTA.
Uh-huh.
Is that through the Chicago?
This is section 18, right,
Okay.
SAC, Special Asset Center.
well, at some point, there are 2 or 3 pieces that we need to,
Just
start working
clear,
with
yeah.
Chicago.
Mhm.
Whether it's the improvements that we wanna do at Elm Street, and what has to be done there. And probably that's part of our projection and strategy for
How we gonna deal with
2023.
it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
To
yes.
those things that need to be done with those properties.
Right.
So, Chairman and board members, there are a couple of things on the procurement. We haven't procured anything in terms of a vehicle, but we are looking at quotes for a vehicle. It may happen in 2023, but we do have 2 2010 trucks, and we're looking at getting at least 1 new vehicle with a trade-in of those 2 trucks.
And what's the funding? Is it coming from HAP,
So-
unrestricted reserves?
Those trucks, I was told, they were purchased with unrestricted, but the.
Okay, I don't mean to cut you off,
Okay,
but who's gonna have use of those vehicles?
so, yeah, that's where I'm headed, so, yeah, the inspector. So, I thought perhaps those trucks came from Section 8,
They should
From
come
cost
from,
center
they should come
600,
from HAP,
because that's
admin. That's
been
where
the
they
use.
should come from.
So, but just doing the research for the source of funding for those trucks,
Mhm.
I've been told they actually came from cost center 900, they were purchased years ago from that, but,
But if they're gonna be used exclusively for Section 8, HAP admin needs to pay for it.
yes. That is the plan. That's the
Sounds
plan on that. Okay, all right, but really, not much going on with procurement as we try to close out, other than, trying to get that position filled.
Mhm.
And actually, I have a little report for you.
Anything further, ma'am?
No, sir, nothing further under procurement or legal.
All right. Commissioner Anthony?
Okay, lot of stuff. Again, we are still going through restructuring. And it looks like we're gonna go through restructuring before we can get to stabilization, with the part of this. There were about 12 applicants for the executive administrators. Interviews will begin, next week. The interviews for procurement manager has begun, and there are 3 applicants for that position, and that's great to hear that we do have interest. In the HCV.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I could take that personal, you know? there are still about 10 applicants for the housing specialist. Interviews will begin for these positions. One of the things that we're reminded of in the past, the HCV housing specialist position remained open. It never closed. Because we were aware that there were gonna be turnovers. So we always had an opportunity to take additional applications, and that may be something that we wanna exercise now because of the turnovers that's taking place in HCV. There is a temporary employee working in the department helping to scan and sort documents.
And I can tell you more about that. That's because of the Yardy migration. And so gotta have it in to migrate it. So
Right.
he's getting us caught up. We are behind.
Nan McKay, temporary staffing services. Ms. Brumfield is sending in specific information for Nan McKay to, in order to see exactly what are the needs for the Section 8 department in order to catch up with recertifications. And I think we need to recognize how important recertifications are to our financial well-being. That is money that is on the ground that we don't pick up if we don't get those recerts in and get those subsidies up to date. And that's something, you know, CAAC is dealing with, is getting their subsidies up to date. There is some orientation going on. 17 of the 20 MHA employees have been through employee orientation. You know, we tried to get that done and could not get the cooperation of leadership in the past to make sure that people were aware of what all the rules and regs. And we had updated the handbook at one time, and I don't think anybody even knew that we had updated the handbook. But I think that that's very important for the older employees as well as for those new ones that are coming on board. There was an employee orientation held on October 4th, and 5 employees completed it on October the 4th. Open enrollment, there's a meeting scheduled on October the 26th at 9 a.m. with AFLAC at MHA. And we're also dealing with dental and vision benefits. Y'all know how it goes at the end of the year. Everybody needs to review what their insurance is and if it's still meeting your needs. There's training going on, and we know that. There's been Yardy training going on all this week, so we forgive y'all for not being able to reach.
Thank you for your grace.
There's still contract, NARO procurement and contract management training that's, and receiving certificates. Carlos Albert, Cortina Bailey, Erica, Tamara, Starla, Alta, and Deborah. And again, the training with Yardy, the housing specialist, had their first week of training, and the finance department is in training as we speak. Getting these new systems up after decades of ignoring that was something that needed to be done. And of course, CAAC will be going through the same process during the month of November, so that we can take on our responsibilities as part of the transition from MHA. So that's the report.
I don't know, but it's probably a side note. Has our dues for NARO been resubmitted?
So Alpha keeps up with the dues. But I can present that specific question to her.
Yeah,
She
'cause
normally
I-
stays on top of it with NARO.
Because I'll have problems trying to sign into that. I said, I wonder if our dues have been renewed.
Okay. I will definitely ask her about that.
Is that it, Commissioner Anthony?
That's it. That was a lot.
Quite a
Yeah,
bit.
it
Let me ask a question on the open enrollment. Is CHGC a part of that?
We are getting notices for those who qualify.
It's a matter of courtesy.
See, of course, you don't get anything until you've been there 6 months, because we're part of the group plan
That's what I'm-
for MHA.
Well, technology-wise, don't have much to update on you. I want to speak to you there for Carlos about the phone system, but I know that's been staggered. The kiosks are up and running, but we'd had a discussion about all those forms and documents being PDF writable. That way they don't have to print them out, fill it out, sign it, and be done with it. If those kiosks could allow for some type of electronic signature, that would be even better. They could PDF, fill it in, email it to their appropriate caseworker, or whoever they need to remote it to, thereby less paper that we got to deal with. Because paper has a tendency of getting lost.
Yes,
and
sir.
that's the whole point of technology.
Yeah.
But the kiosks, they're there, they're ready to go. And the migration, I know with Yardie, it's gonna take a minute. Any migration is not easy, but it's moving along, and hopefully, we can get Yardie up and running and send Tinmas on their way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has been a nightmare. We have for years fought for Tinmas to be done away
Well,
with.
we didn't want them in the first place.
But it seems like we're finally gonna get rid of that nightmare, which is gonna make it easier for the client, more efficient for employees, and it's gonna be just better all the way around. And I've been able to get out reports in a timely fashion.
And see, I saw one module in Yardie, particularly with the inspection file module. You can actually attach video to the file and be stored with it. And since everything is going digital, that means not only pictures, but video as well that you can store. And storage is very cheap to buy, whether it's external or internal. 3 terabytes for $100, I mean, that's next to nothing. But you've got a new generation of hard drive called exabyte and petabytes, which is 1,000 times higher than a terabyte is. So storage is at a premium.
We're moving in that direction.
And Chairman Lowe, and I know how the board feels about going paperless, and so I wanted Carlos to kind of share what we're learning about Yardie and the kiosk. It's going to make it an even more paperless process for us. Carlos, can you explain how that's going to really enrich our kiosk process?
With Yardie, we have the module called Rent Cafe. And what Rent Cafe does, all of our clients can upload their information, social security cards, proof of income, birth certificate via this portal. So that lowers the amount of footwork traffic of people coming in. It goes to Rent Cafe, our specialist verifies everything and approves it over to Voucher. Yes, sir.
When you said that they can upload all of this, you talking about from their home or wherever?
Their phone, their
Oh,
computer,
yeah,
web,
okay,
web.
take a picture or
Kiosk.
something and
Yeah,
just,
that's that digitizing of data.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Well, mentioned.
So the other benefit of that, once we're fully converted over, we can attach it to our website. So the kiosk will be even more, can be used even, utilized
they'll be
even
able
more.
to do that sort of thing at the
Right,
kiosk
so-
too, if they got that
Yes.
information with them.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, correct me wrong, kiosk has a scanner on it, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
So.
It was
they-
so nice to see people actually entering our building again this morning. It's been such a long, chaotic mess out front. So when you gonna move them tables?
Some words.
Cause it's still an
It's
eyesore,
time.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
time to
it's
move them
time.
tables.
It's gonna take a
But,
minute though.
Yeah.
because I mean, we're coming out of this,
Yeah.
You're right.
so it's time to dispense with some of that stuff that's
I
out
really
there.
would like to see some of that, see it. The process. that
kiosk?
they go- Well, I'd like to actually see someone download that stuff and how they,
And
so if
that's-
you put something in there and then, well, I don't have this with me at this time.
Let me come back.
You can come back, pick up where you left off and.
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay. And so how do they know, how does, the individual,
Can't believe it.
how does it keep up with each individual person? They get assigned a,
Right, so each customer, each client,
Uh-huh.
when they log in, they have a unique email
Is that-
address. So
okay.
whatever
Oh,
email
alright.
address you register with,
gotcha, yeah.
that's your unique ID.
That's
And as you submit things and things are approved, you'll get emails with that.
about, is that right? Oh.
And,
Yeah, use that as an index
Uh-huh.
and where it puts stuff.
and to help with Section 8 and everything,
Mm-hmm.
they can have the option to get letters and also
You
emails.
talk about that.
So that should cut down the amount of return mails and things of that
That's
nature.
right.
And if you allow me to speak about one other thing about the conversion, we're doing this at an accelerated rate.
Yeah, loaded.
So there's a few things that I need to know. From my understanding, our relationship with CHC with Yardi is strictly processing HCV and PBV vouchers, correct?
Correct.
Okay. With saying that, our tentative date for conversion is November 28th, 29th, and 30th. So,
That's a lot of data.
yes. So over those 3 days, we're gonna be converting stuff from Timax into Yardi. So hopefully by the end of January, Timax will be,
Out the door.
But see, there's also a second migration that I know you're probably not aware of. All CAC's data needs to be ported over the CAC server.
and with that,
We'll be up and running by that time.
right, and with that, Timax server will still be here. It just, at that point, it'll just be legacy data. Moving forward, it'll just be, you know, things that we need to do to operate for this agency.
We'll coordinate, we'll have our IT person coordinate with you what's taking place with us as we complete the transition. You know, we started this transition a couple of months ago, but hopefully we'll have it completed by the 15th of November, if not sooner.
I know it's a headache.
I don't know.
So,
I'm learning.
been through too many conversions myself. I know it's a headache.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, right now, Metropolitan Village and Cumberland should already be a part of your system because it's PBV.
Right?
So that, but we're only talking, what, 120 units, because there's 60 units on each side of that property. So that's not a major issue. And so it's, you know, there's, the data that you have is gonna be the data that you move, because there's nothing else we're introducing at this point.
Okay. You all have any more questions?
Phase in with the phone service.
We're working with that. If you notice, there have been less and less voicemails. We have 2 phones up front. If it rolls over from the, well, someone's on the first phone, they automatically roll over to the second phone. I am in the midst of the conversion, again, we go to fill out those rest of the phone trees.
Okay.
But it's a work in progress, but we are working on it as well.
Sounds good.
Carlos?
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Good job. That's big time. I really. I mean, that's a lot.
Well, show me where you value your data,
Yeah.
and I'll show you how important your organization is to you. The higher your IT is and your data is, the more that you're concerned with data-driven analysis to move your company forward. Brother Jackson.
Okay, start off, right now, next week, I'm gonna be doing a series of, tours around the, towers, getting ready for the, election for the council for 23. Talking to people and, you know, explaining to them all the, ins and outs and classes that they're gonna have to take and all that. I'm gonna start that next week, and then while I'm doing that, I'm gonna have a thing where it's called, have the floor, express your concerns, and what it is I, try to have everybody to come in, have a meeting, and tell me what's going on in their building. And that way I can go from, you know, what to do and what the next step is. Yesterday, I'm not for sure it happened in every tower, but yesterday they turned the heat on. Yesterday. And that being said,
Turn it off tomorrow.
because what's so crazy about it is the way they do the heat, you know, they change the hot water to
They got to
the
switch it
cold.
over, right?
Right, so
Yeah.
right now, the only places that are warm and everybody's gathering is like the community areas. And as your flow goes up, it's like slowly going up with it. So my mom right now, I had to go put a heater in there for her, and she's up under the electric blanket shivering. And I'm like, okay.
I understand.
Yeah, but the one thing I was really concerned, because it was like, I know we have a lot of elderly people, and everybody can't take that cold, you know. We young people, but everybody
I
can't
can't
take that
take
cold.
that cold.
And I mean, even now, I used to be able to take it, but I'm seeing changes in my body now. And I'm like, man, you know, time flying. So, but yeah, that's all I have pretty much. I did get one concern from somebody that told me about the commodities. And I noticed that they hadn't had the commodities in a few months. And somebody told me that the commodities were continuing at the other sites, but they wouldn't continue at our site. So that's what I'm working on now.
That's a government thing.
Yeah, I know it's a government thing, but
If they wanna pay that bill.
yeah. And that's what I think it basically is, because government claims
But-
they got all this money, but they.
But see, it's not when it comes to government. See, government's supposed to have your tenant participation funds, and if you wanna use it for that, you can use it for
Use
that.
for that, exactly. It's the same with the funds for the council. Yeah. So,
Well, even HUD's, I mean, government is, if you have a full functioning resident council, HUD, government is supposed to be paying them a stipend based upon the number of units with a maximum of $50. If they're not doing that, they're in violation of the CFR.
thank you for telling me that.
Now, that's just
I'll
your
put that in my
office-
notes.
That's your
Thank you.
officers of your council, your president, vice president, treasurer, secretary. They supposed to be a stipend, and it's not to count toward the income they use for their houses. It's not supposed to be counted for that.
It's supposed to be like we did back in the day. Yeah.
Question, now, the meeting that you're talking about, will there be a class on Robert's Rules of Order?
Well, no, the class.
On how to conduct business?
Well, I mean, the one that I'm doing on mine is just to get some insight of each resident and what's going on in that site that they need fixing. Because also too, there's a big shortage of maintenance men. We're using maintenance men from power towers and Paris towers because we don't have any. So that's another thing too. That's why I'm doing this here, because a lot of people they don't really know who they have to go to when stuff like this is happening. They say they go to the management don't do nothing, you know what I'm saying? That's
Well,
my,
that's what the council is supposed to be. Doing.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm trying to go out and explain to people what the qualifications, what the meaning of being a council member, and not just getting a sniping like you said. Because like a lot of people, they heard, ooh, $50, and they didn't join, but they
Put
not
the work
really.
in.
Yeah, they're not gonna put the
You
work
gotta
in.
Put the work
They're
in.
not gonna put the work in.
But
So
even with your election, who are you recruiting to do your election?
I haven't got that far yet. I know we have to have like a second, third party.
Yep.
So, seeing the elections in the past, I've gone to you and you have filled me in on the stuff that I had to
The
do.
League of Women Voters would be a good choice.
What now?
The League of Women Voters.
Okay.
That's when Dorothy Brown was doing all that.
And the more legal we get with how things conducted, the more, it helps people to understand how these things are processed and how they come about. And by all means, not only Robert's Rules of Orders, but how to process their complaint is necessary.
Yeah, exactly,
So that's
yeah.
a whole bunch of stuff. Just when we started talking to residents before, how to process, how to keep up with stuff, and because if you're just going in the office to gripe,
It ain't gonna happen, it ain't nothing gonna
that
happen.
ain't about nothing.
And that right there, what you're saying is what pretty much right now taking place. I mean, any given day, I can go down there and I can check the mail and I'm hearing somebody fussing. And I'm hearing somebody cussing and this and that, and the manager come out and she looks at me and I'm like, this is your boat, what you doing? You know, cause like a lot of people like, you know, they tell you, well, you the commissioner? I'm like, yeah, I didn't know we had a commissioner. So that's why I've been going around to these places to tell somebody, yeah, you know, to educate them that, hey, you do have a person to call or talk to. And, you know, area of complaints, and that's one of the reasons I'm going to each tower individually. And hopefully, you know, a number of people show up. Now, I'm not feeding anybody, I ain't got no money, so I hope they show up, cause you know, most of the time, they ain't coming if you ain't got nothing to eat. Yeah, because the first thing they gonna ask, where the food? So, but, I hope I have a good turnout, cause like, now, a lot of people are starting to call me now that they know I'm aware, you know, they're aware that I'm there, so other people give them my number and stuff, and so I can help them the best way I can. So that's about it.
All right, Brother Lindsay.
I don't have anything to add to, it. I just think that, we come out of this meeting Monday with something, you know, in that, the 19 behind us, and we can start working on 20, you know.
That's Thursday.
Yes, sir. Thursday, sir. What we doing Monday?
Closing the sunset
Yes,
deal.
and that's right. And Monday, I did mention that I was, had that morning meeting with Corey Jennings.
That's the one I'm talking about.
That's what you're talking
That-
about. Yeah,
So
about,
Monday, we meet with Corey.
it's at
Oh,
9:30.
okay.
Yeah,
AM.
Monday, that's, yeah.
Okay.
And then later that afternoon,
Ain't nothing else. Ain't nobody is.
a lot going on.
Not going on, but that's a
Yeah.
good thing. But I just think that this is very important that
Yes.
Corey gets us where we need to be
Yeah.
and start working on something.
So behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right, Director Benedicto, old
Okay.
business?
Old business, so I don't see Gorman on, but anyway, or the design group. I can say with the design group, we did have a meeting with them about the revamping of the website. So they've sent us some of their ideas and prototype, and they're giving us the opportunity to look through it and then give them some feedback. So that is moving with the design group and the website. So, but nothing more there. So new business, I've got Pinnacle Valley, Mr. AJ Gilbert. So that's if you're ready, Chairman Lowe.
Already.
I'll be real brief. Thank you guys for allowing me to be on your agenda. Chairman, Vice Chairman, Commissioners, good to see you guys again.
Yes, sir.
Got some traction going for both of our projects. For residents at Pettyway, it's in underwriting with ANFA right now. Just reading their board minutes here. We've been lobbying to increase some of the housing subsidy, and they approved it, thank God. For a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and a 3-bedroom, it went up, so that's very good. For the Pinnacle place that we're working on now, we're in the middle of trying to put the package together, and we're almost there. Couple of hiccups that the underwriters are looking at, the syndicators, is a couple of things, is that they wanted to be, the HAP contracts line up with the affordability period, if we can. I know we have a 5-year HAP contract in place now, thankfully, from you guys, and we really appreciate that, but the hiccup in the pushback is if we can line up the HAP contracts with the affordability period, that where it get cash flow. If we don't renew it in 5 years, it's a issue with the tax credit investor, because the rents go down and it can't cash flow the debt. So that's why they were trying to figure out if you guys could consider increasing that from a 5-year contract to a 15-year contract, so it would cash flow and be a successful project for the Pinnacle place. So that's our request and our desire. If we could make that happen, that would be be a great move on our part. We're looking at 289 units. It's looking very good. We have to extend the land contract because I think we're supposed to close it the end of this month. So we're looking at trying to extend it another 30 days for closing with LISC. So they've committed to work with us to close the land takedown and pre-development loan to get some things rolling, get the architect going fully for the plans to be drawn and designed. And so that's pretty much where we are with the Pinnacle Place. So if you guys could consider to extend that 5-year contract to a 15-year contract to line up with the affordability period with the tax credits and the debt, that would be a big help. And that's pretty much where we are with that project. Is there any questions for me?
So you're saying that if it's not 15 years, then there's basically no deal?
That's what that's the pushback, yes. That's the pushback.
So what happens to that $25,000 that CAC invested?
Well, we can't really go forward with the whole deal if you know, if we can't get an agreement, you know, with the syndicator and the bank. That's the number one concern. They ask us, why are they not gonna give you the 15-year affordability period with the HAP contracts? Because it won't cash flow, because if the rents come down, thankfully the FMR went up this year, and that made the project cash flow even better. So after 5 years, if that HAP contract is not in place, say for example, we're renting a 1-bedroom for $950 with the HAP contract, and the LIHTC rent in 5 years will be less than that if the HAP contract goes away, then we're in trouble with cash flow. That's the issue. So we like to line it up so they'll know if they give us a 30-year, a 40-year loan amortization with a 15-year balloon, we know exactly where we are. They know exactly where they are in terms of underwriting. They know they can get paid every month. So that's kind of what the issue is with lining that up with the affordability period, with the keeping those rents at that level. We're talking new project, and it's 55 and up. There's nothing like it, you know. There's going to be like it out there. So again, I think with the management team that we'll have in place, I mean the property should be in good shape, based on us working together as a good team. So that's our prayer, that's our aim, that's our goal. But that's the issue that you know. And again, you guys have first right of refusal to buy the property anyway. So I mean, you guys are in first position. So you know, it's a win-win for everybody.
So what say you?
What kind of
Discussion?
Yeah. I mean, so what kind of timeline are you asking us to make a decision? Now?
Yes, so we kind of need to know.
Yesterday?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
All
because we're in the middle of underwriting. We're putting it together, we're putting the numbers in the application and all that. And our JV partner, you know, we got to get back with them first of the week. They're going to fly down, and we're fast tracking it to get things going, to get it turned in. And I mean, we don't want to lose our earnest money either. That's important. So.
Chairman, is there anything that we have to do to go to the HUD field office to make this adjustment? Since we're
No, I mean, it's
moving it
up,
from
but
5
based
to
upon the
15.
CFR, the Housing Authority has the sole discretion of dedicating these vouchers, but there is a form that we have to fill
I saw it.
that,
Yeah. Okay, so that's the only other step we have to take?
well, there's a two-pronged test when we decide to do a HAP. One, whether it's non-competitive or it's competitive.
But this is
let's
just
feel
an
that this is-
amendment to an agreement we already have.
Well, what we could do, take a vote to rescind that and then we vote to put it the way it needs to be.
To vote, to
To
extend.
No, rescind
Okay,
that first resolution.
okay. And then,
And then vote to give it, put year, 15-year
15
light,
years rather
light,
than the
light,
5.
yeah, light period, right. Low income tax credit period.
Right.
well, how does that,
What that does,
Negatively, well-
that steers the ship right.
that what?
That steers the ship, right. But you got to understand, if there's no deal,
Yeah.
that's why I brought up the question of what's gonna
What's
happen to
happening?
CAC,
Yeah,
$25,000.
Yeah, that they
Right.
put in.
So, I mean, I'm just, my question has to do with process.
Process is
Yeah,
right.
that's the only portion I got here, is that what stands between us, and making,
MHA and-
you know, for us to make the adjustment?
Right.
Is there any barriers to us making the adjustment?
Usually when you vote on an addendum, it's usually at the time that the motion is made. But since time has lapsed, and in my opinion, the correct course of action is vote to rescind what we did,
Okay.
and then put a new motion on the table.
Mr. Chairman, I placed a motion that we rescind the original resolution that made the agreement for the vouchers for the project in Pinnacle Valley.
Okay.
Need a
I
second?
got another, I got
Okay,
a question,
okay.
I got a question.
Okay.
I wanna know,
Well,
As far as-
For you answer
You
the
have to
question,
say-
give me a
Okay.
second.
You got to second the
Okay,
motion
that's what-
first.
Give me a second.
give me a second.
Okay, the moved and properly second.
Okay.
That we rescind the original resolution.
No
Are you
question.
ready for the question?
My question is, so how does that put MHA during that 15-year period? I mean, you know, does
Well,
it negatively
okay,
impact?
if it goes away,
Yes, sir.
that $25,000
It's out the
is
door.
reflected on MHA's books, because once CAC is audited, MHA is audited, they blend them together, so it negatively affects us as well.
That's what, MHA, that's, yeah.
Yeah, it
But for the
negatively affects us.
15-year timeframe, those vouchers are
Tied up.
site, they're
Right.
tied up to the
They're
site.
tied up.
So
Tied up to the
that's a
site.
negative, so that's a negative impact.
We're not, if we're not using them.
No, we ain't using it.
We're not using them.
Huh?
We're not using it.
We're not using them. So there's no negative impact because we're not using them at this
Well,
point.
you know, we're not gonna use them.
Now, what that does is, you saw the number, the 2,612?
Yes,
What that does is, that
I got you, okay.
pushes
Ties
up
up. I got you, okay, I'm sorry. All right.
our lease rate,
I got you.
even
Okay.
though they've been allocated,
Okay.
just like with
I'm sorry.
Sunset.
All right.
Sunset is a mixture, but majority of that is project-based.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just slow enough there.
Oh, yeah, senior moment.
I'll keep bringing it all in. I
Okay,
see where
okay.
we're going now.
Okay.
So the senior moment, yeah.
That's
In the
real
moment.
life.
In real life.
Got a
Yeah.
motion on the table to rescind the resolution, instead of 5-year, we choose to rescind it. Are you ready for the question?
Yes.
Yes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Uh,
All opposed, none, okay?
All right.
Now we need a new motion to adopt those same amounts for the full low-income tax credit year or period.
15 years.
What was the amount of the number of vouchers? One?
What was it, 289?
Yes, sir, 289.
Mr. Chairman, I place a motion on the floor to allocate 289 vouchers to the Pinnacle Valley project for a period of 15 years.
Second.
We move to proper second that 289 vouchers be dedicated to the Pinnacle Valley project for the 15-year low-income tax credit period. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, none. Erica, sorry about that. You gotta
No,
redo
it's
the
okay.
paperwork.
That's all right.
Sorry about that.
I'll go type it up.
Okay.
So we're done.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, commissioners.
Yes,
We
sir.
appreciate it. I think we'll be proud of that decision, and we really excited about keep this thing moving forward. Any questions for us, please don't hesitate to call. let us know.
And see, later on down the road, we have the right of first refusal.
That's
Well,
what I
well,
got.
CAC has the right of first
Yeah,
refusal
yeah,
to go
yeah.
and buy.
But I got,
Right.
yeah, I got that.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay.
Pacing
All right,
the
sir.
future.
Thank you.
We're pacing the future.
Another opportunity. right.
Chairperson, I just have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Jackson, did you abstain?
Nah, he voted yea.
Okay, because I gotta do the resolution, okay. I
Right.
mean, it's still passed, I just gotta put them all in there.
All right, little background for the next item.
Alrighty, little background, $20,000. Well, here's the question that came up, or the suggestion that came up by Brian. The $20,000 from an insurance payout be used to help relocate the Sunset Terrace residents.
It's a payout to MHA. This $20,000 is MHA's money.
Correct. That's in unrestricted reserve.
Right.
The problem
Okay.
is, the developer wants us to reach in our pocket,
And
to
help
fix
him
up
with
some
the-
units for their relocation.
And let's make
That's
this
the
short and
dilemma.
sweet. Mr. Chairman, place a motion on the floor to not allocate $20,000 for the relocation of citizens at the Sunset Terrace location.
Second.
Been moved and properly second to deny the request of $20,000 for relocation of Sunset Terrace residents. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. Motion passes. So when I had a call with Brian Swanton, so the board unanimously decided that we're not gonna do that. Because here's the deal. Once we go in and fix it, guess what? They're gonna tear it right back out.
Well,
And that's
not only that.
financially irresponsible.
Not only that, we're only talking about 4 units at Sunset.
Right.
And it's relocation financing expense belongs to the developer, not to us. So it's, to me, it's unethical, it's overbearing, and it's downright arrogant for someone to think that they can reach in our pocket to finance their responsibility.
Here, here. All right, Director Benedicto.
All right, moving right along. Okay, so Resolution 2022-106849 has to do with documents needed for the cap funds drawdown, all around the Sunset closing deal. So, in looking at what we have to include in the packet and uploading to Epic is a civil rights certification for fiscal year 2021. So the annual plan was done, the 45 public review was done. I just didn't see a record of the resolution and the civil rights signature. So, which is in your book, because Chairman Lowe, I think you said you needed to sign that one. So I thought I'd go ahead and put it in there so we can upload it this afternoon and those funds can be ready to draw down
At closing.
in closing.
Any
So
questions?
that's, resolution authorizing and approving the civil rights certification for fiscal year 2021.
Any questions, discussions?
Mr. Chairman, motion to pass the resolution.
6849.
6849.
Second.
Been moved and properly second for the adoption of resolution 2022-10-6849. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? None. Motion passes. Executive session?
Mr. Chairman, I ask that you open the floor for the annual meeting of the MHA Board of Commissioners, which will include the executive session.
Second.
Been moved and properly second to switch the items executive session, election of officers around. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. So at this, we're not in executive session, y'all.
No, I asked that executive session be included in the annual meeting. That's what I asked, you wasn't listening.
Okay.
I didn't know what I said.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
you.
because
I-
the executive session,
They're trying to figure out where to go.
but I've asked that the executive session be included.
Be included.
As a
in-
part of.
As a part of
of
the
the
annual meeting, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
So
I got
we in
you.
executive session now.
So-
Yes,
okay.
and annual meeting.
Question, what does that mean right here?
That means it's part-
You messed them up,
That
you
means-
messed
that
them
means
up when
it's
you
part
said
of
it like that.
Our annual meeting, we're going to executive session
Exactly.
to discuss.
As a part of our annual meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And I am stopping record.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Call me,
Recording stopped.
Brandy?
okay, recording stop.
Yeah, he
I'm
will.
ending the Zoom since she's gonna call you.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.